Привет, comrades. I just wanted to make a short little clip to go along with some of the shooting that I recently did. I know you guys been wanting me to do another video on the Palmetto State Armory AK105. This one's mine in particular, and just so we're clear, it is clear. So you can see I've made a few changes since the last time that this thing was seen. I've got a Russian issue sling in my favorite camo, the EMR Digital. I've got a new mount made in Belarus by Belomo. You can actually get these on Amazon if you're looking for it. It's a very high-rise mount. It allows for quite a bit. It's good for rifle scopes specifically. And as you can see, I really love goon tape. I've attached my flashlight, of course, with goon tape. It does work pretty good for camouflage using the green. And then also I learned, just by playing around, that it does make a really good extended charging handle. Just layer it on there real good. It does make a huge difference, and I usually put like a little small amount on the magazine latch, just because when you're in a hurry, you're not wearing gloves, these things can tear you up, and so maybe that'll save somebody's fingernail, or my fingernail, or somebody's finger, or whatever. But as I can say right now, I still don't have a lot of rounds through it. But it still is performing unexpectedly well. I've said it before that I can't believe that I really appreciate and like this platform more than my import, because you know that I have a Romanian import. It's a nice rifle, but I've said to many of my friends that whoever is manufacturing or taking part in the manufacturing process of these firearms has a real deep love for Soviet engineering, Russian engineering, Mikhail Kalashnikov's dream, his vision, because they have really nailed it with these rifles. And I don't know if you've seen other Palmetto State Armories, also known as PSA, other platforms, such as they do make an AK101, 102, 103, 104, 105. And I do believe they're in some part in the future making a 106 and a 107. I don't know when that's going to happen. I know they're going to make a clone of the AK-12. I know a lot of people are really excited for that. I have a comrade of mine that he is a pupil of mine. He bought the Palmetto State Armory AK-101 and the 5.56. And if we get a chance, we'll make a video about that. That's a kick-ass gun too. And what I really love about that in particular is Palmetto has their own proprietary magazines that they have constructed to fit those guns. Not to be confused with their AK-556, which takes the Magpul mags. It has the M4 adapter. Not a huge fan of, specifically because of jamming issues, feeding issues, being very biased towards only using Magpul mags. Other mags don't really function quite as well as they should, which is one of the biggest reasons. Number one, I went with the 5.45 because I've always wanted an AK-74. And so after I got my Romanian one, this was the next one I wanted, because I wanted a tricked out, as they call it, Spetsnaz gun. But also the proprietary magazines that are constructed in Russia or Bulgaria. And then Magpul does make 5.45 by 39 magazines, and so does ProMag. The abundance of magazines was a lot easier at the time when I got the guns and then bought the ammo. And if you're not too familiar with 5.45 by 39, it's not a rarity in the eastern part of the world. It is a rarity over here due to sanctions and bans by the ATF and presidents who have Russophobia and Americans that have Russophobia. Right now it's going through a famine again, and every 10-12 years or so, maybe less, maybe more, the 5.45 cartridge and the firearms typically would go back and forth between, you could get one but you couldn't get the other, or one was way too expensive and then one was way too expensive on the other end, or both at the same time. Right now we're going through a famine of the caliber because of the sanctions and the bans, but that's about to change pretty soon. I have sources that are going to start bringing that ammunition into the country again, and I'm not going to tell you who or where. And then Palmetto State Armory and Kalashnikov USA are both going to start manufacturing that cartridge very soon. I know Palmetto's got a lot of irons in the fire, and so does KUSA. But any of you that are hardcore fans about the platform or the caliber, bear with me. Bear with the creators and the will of the AK gods that the ammo is coming. Grab the guns, save the ammo you have for right now. You could do what I did. I bought a Kalashnikov USA KR9 9mm, and so I still get the same motor function training, but it costs a lot cheaper. And obviously 9mm is not going anywhere because everyone uses it, especially the United States. So that is a suggestion. Palmetto also has their version, the AKV9, which is also a really good platform. The only reason I went with the PP19, I'm sure I've mentioned this before, is because it is an exact clone of the PP19 Vityaz that the Russians produce. But the AKV9, the real significant difference is it does have a much more robust look and feel. It also accepts proprietary PSA mags along with the ones that coexist with the Magpul and the CZ Scorpion mags. So you can buy the cheap Palmetto and the Magpul mags for it and run it. It's an AK platform. It functions like an AK side charger, the same safety selector, the grip angle, and they have a couple different lengths. And so, yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about this, and I can say for sure, I was talking about magazines. That right there, that's a Bulgarian made 30 round 545 magazine, and those are pretty abundant still. But like I said, right now the caliber itself is going through a famine. So if you're trying to get into something like that, you're honestly not going to get any ammo right now, unless you want to get on AmmoSeek and go through the 3 or 4 selections that there are and pay a 300% markup price, because that's what you're looking at right now. But if you're looking at getting into an AK that you're not wanting the 7.62 by 39 traditionally, as most Americans think that's the only caliber AK that exists, at least the ignorant ones, I could totally recommend the 5.56, the AK101, not the AK5.56 by Palmetto, the AK101 or the 102, which is the shorter carbine version, which is a lot like this. It's got the 12.5 inch barrel. It totally kicks a lot of ass. And if I would have only known about their magazines and the functionality of their weapons, I probably would have got a 101 first instead of getting this. But die hard for old school Soviet tech, had to have an AK-74, had to have the AK-105. It's what the Russian Special Forces teams are still using to this day. I can confirm that by direct sources. But yeah, I don't know if you noticed, I'm wearing my Brittany Jones. She is a unaffiliated candidate out of Oregon running for president in 2024 in the United States of America. If you are tired of the two-party system, if you are sick and tired of the senseless bickering and spending of money and slaughtering of innocent people across the world, and the abuse of our veterans, the abuse of the minorities, the abuse of the LGBTQ community, quit voting for the two-party system. They work together. They have been for a long time. And if you want to keep create an actual boundary between the separation of church and state, like it was instilled by our forefathers, our founding fathers, vote for Brittany Jones. I don't agree 110% with all of her policies, but she's a veteran, she's a wife, she's a mother, she's a practicing spiritualist. She is unaffiliated with any political party. She's as she likes to say it, she's running as a poor person. I've seen this gal sitting in airports and bus stations a lot by herself, making TikToks. I'm so very proud to be voting for someone like that, someone who's actually of the people, for the people, literally. With that being said, if you have any questions about anything I've said today, whether it be about the guns, about my candidate, also, I don't know if you noticed the cool flag that I have. I don't know if you remember, if you were following the Ukraine conflict of the Russian special operation that started very, very short time ago. I don't know if you remember the instance where there was a video of Ukrainian soldiers, 76th Regiment and Azov to be specific, were harassing an old woman that thought that she thought that they were Russians coming to liberate her sector, and they weren't. And she came out with what she said is the. You hear my puppy? She's ridiculous. But she came out with a flag of what she said was her father's flag. Her father fought in the Second World War against the you know who's. And I don't want to get banned on YouTube for saying any inappropriate wording that is offensive to the administration of this country and the West. But yeah, so she got harassed and pushed around, and she got her flag taken away from her and thrown on the ground and stomped on. I think they eventually even burned it. And so this has just been, you can get this in a patch, a shirt, a flag. You can get them on Amazon. You can get them on Etsy and AliExpress. This is just they call it the babushka with the colors, or the colors of the motherland. The babushka flying the colors of the motherland. If you're anti-fascist like I am, you don't have to be a communist, you don't have to be a socialist, you don't have to stand for Marxism, none of that. Being pro-Russian in this day and age, and the right side of history, all right, putting aside the Orthodox Church, just the Russian Federation, how they handle business, I have been watching very closely since when they went into Syria, when they interacted with the republics of the Congo in Africa. They also acted on the behalf of South Africa. And then the situation, special military operation that they had to conduct in Crimea and the mainland of Ukraine. I can only say that they are not the ones that are supporting terrorism. And if you believe that they are the enemy, you believe that they're trying to take over the world, or whatever nonsense that you're getting from the mainstream media, I urge you to either awaken and find out the truth for yourself, the real truth. And if you don't care, you don't give a crap, stay off social media. We don't want to hear your terrible, awful, sadistic opinions about things that you have no idea what you're talking about. Until next time, my friends, stay safe, stay frosty, blessed be.